Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday morning, May the 10th, and time once again for a mailbag. How you guys doing? I hope you've had a great week and a great weekend. As you all know, I have been on birthday vacation, and guess what? It's not over, as you might be able to tell, due to the actual mountain behind me. I am still on the vacation. It has turned into a very extended trip away, and it's been lovely. I'm here in Southern Oregon. I'm staying at a friend's very lovely house with this just absolutely phenomenal view. So it's great, but we are leaving in the morning to head back to Texas, and it's not actually going to be, we're not flying back. It's going to be a road trip, literally a cross-country road trip. So there will be dispatches from the road, hopefully maybe even another recording from the road, because we're going to be stopping here and there. And but at the same time, I was missing you guys. I'm missing creating content. So yesterday morning you should have seen a new review video for you, and I wanted to get a mailbag in because while I've been gone, of course, eARCs have been coming in. So this is an exclusively eARC edition of the mailbag, but it's got some awesome, amazing new stuff on it. And I hope you guys enjoy watching it, because I am enjoying being back with you and being back on the channel. So look for more exciting coverage of new books and new stuff coming up soon, all right? Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the books. Okay, so what I've done is the usual thing when I do the eARCs. I have organized them in order of release date, okay? So the first of these is a book from Orbit, and it's called For the Wolf. And it says it's for fans of Uprooted and The Bear and the Nightingale. It comes out June the 1st. Anyway, it's a dark, sweeping debut fantasy novel about a young woman who must be sacrificed to the legendary Wolf of the Wood to save her kingdom. Harsh. Anyway, it says, not all legends are true, and the wolf isn't the only danger lurking in the Wilderwood. As the only second daughter born in centuries, Red has one purpose: to be sacrificed to the wolf in the wood in the hope he'll return the world's captured gods. Red is almost relieved to go. Plagued by a dangerous power she can't control, at least she knows that in the Wilderwood she can't hurt those she loves again. But the legends lie. The wolf is a man, not a monster. Her magic is a calling, not a curse. And if she doesn't learn how to use it, the monsters the gods have become will swallow the Wilderwood and her world whole. All right, and that is For the Wolf, coming out June the 1st from Orbit. Now, also on June the 1st, we have a book that has just come as a complete out-of-the-blue surprise to me. Don't know how I didn't hear of this before, but I am almost like spastically excited about this, because it's a new book by Brian Catling, the author of the Vor trilogy. I just, you know, I'm a sucker. Weird fiction is total catnip for me. And this is, I think, I'm not sure if it's the beginning of a new trilogy or just a standalone, but it's a book coming out June the 1st called Hollow. And it says, from the author of the Vor trilogy comes an epic odyssey following a group of mercenaries hired to deliver a church's ultimate power, a sacred oracle, as the decadence of carnival gives way to the gravity of Lent and the mystic landscape grows ravenous. Sheltering beneath Das Kagel, the cloud-scraping structure, there it is, Thomas, rumored to be the Tower of Babel, the sacred monastery of the Eastern Gate descends into Bedlam. Their ancient oracle, quite Testiont, Archite, maybe Testiont, anyway, strange name, whose prophecies helped protect the church, has died, leaving the monks vulnerable to the war raging between the living and the dead. Tasked by the High Church to deliver a new oracle, Barry Follett and his group of hired mercenaries are forced to confront wicked giants and dangerous sirens on their mission, keeping the divine creature alive by feeding it marrow and confessing their darkest sins. But as Follett and his men carve their way through the treacherous landscape, the world around them spirals deeper into chaos. Dominic, a young monk who has mysteriously lost his voice, makes a pilgrimage to see surreal paintings, believing they reveal the Empire's fate. A local woman called Mad Meg hopes to free and vindicate her jailed son, and becomes the leader of the most unexpected revolution. And the abbot of the monastery, influential as he is, seeks to gain even more power in this world and the next. Rich with action and fantastic creatures, Hollow ushers the reader through a world of ruin where holy secrets are unearthed, Art mirrors life through a glass darkly, and death looms over everything. It is B. Catling's most accomplished and gripping tale yet. Sounds like just the thing for Thomas to dig his nose into on a long drive back to Texas. Oh yeah. Okay, interesting thing about videoing outside. I had to reposition the camera because the sun is behind me setting and was casting my shadow. It's like, Anyway, nature, what are you going to do, right? Okay, let's go on. Now we have a book on June the 11th. This is an independent title. It's a short story collection by horror author Mike Thorne. It's called Darkest Hours, and it's a re-release and an expanded edition of, I guess, a book that came out a few years ago. But it says, between the covers of Darkest Hours, you will find academics in distress, humans abusing monsters, demons terrorizing people, ghostly reminiscences, resurrected trauma, and occult filmmaking. Ranging from satirical to dreadful, these 16 stories share a distinct voice, urgent, sardonic, and brutal. This expanded edition includes a new foreword by Sadie Hartman from Mother Horror, and author notes for every story describing Thorne's process, influences, and more. This updated release also features 17 of Thorne's essays on horror cinema, which cover films by Tobe Hooper, George Romero, Rob Zombie, M. Night Shyamalan, Wes Craven, and Dario Argento, among others. That's interesting. Okay. Well, anyway, that is the expanded edition of Darkest Hours, which will be out on June the 11th by Mike Thorne. Now, next we are back to Orbit, or maybe Hachette, one of their imprints. This is a book called The World Gives Way. The author is Marissa Levine, and this will be out on June the 15th, which I might have just said. So, I'm a little rusty at this, you guys. Give me a break. Anyway, it says this one is set in a near-future world on the brink of collapse. A young woman born into servitude must seize her own freedom in this glittering debut with a brilliant twist, perfect for fans of Station 11, Karen Thompson Walker, and Naomi Alderman. In 50 years, Mira will be free. Until then, she's a contract worker. Ever since she was 5, her life and labor have belonged to the highest bidder on her contract. Butchers, laundries, and now the powerful, secretive Carlyles. But when one night finds the Carlyles dead, Mira is suddenly free a lot sooner than she anticipated, and at a cost she never could have imagined. Burdened with the Carlyles' orphaned daughter and the terrible secret they died to escape, she runs. With time running out, Mira must come face to face with the truth about her world and embrace what's left before it's too late. A sweeping novel with a darkly glimmering heart, The World Gives Way is an unforgettable portrait of a world in freefall and the fierce drive to live, even at the end of it all. And as I said, that will be out from Hachette on June the 15th. All right. Now, moving on from Orbit, another one from Orbit. This is one I'm looking forward to. It's Catalyst Gate by Megan O'Keefe, and this is the third and final book in the trilogy that began with Velocity Weapon. This will be out, what did I say, June 28th? That's the date. Anyway, the universe is under threat, and an ancient alien intelligence threatens to bring humanity down unless Major Sandra Grieve and her crew can stop it in the final book of this explosive Philip K. Dick Award-nominated space opera. The code has been cracked, the secrets of the Casimir Gates have been revealed, but humanity still isn't safe. The alien intelligence known as Rainier and her clones are still out there, hell-bent on its destruction. And only Sanda can stop them. With the universe's most powerful ship under her command, and some of the most skilled hackers, fighters, and spies on her team, it will still take everything she has to find the key to taking down an immortal enemy with seemingly limitless bodies, resources, and power. All right, and that's that. All right, okay, Catalyst Gate, Megan O'Keefe, June the 28th. Awesome. All right, now, I think this next one is a book from Ace, and this comes out on July the 6th. It's a book by Laura Sebastian, who has written some YA, but I don't think this one is a YA. This one, I believe, is being marketed as adult. It's a book called Half Sick of Shadows, and it's a feminist reimagining of the Arthurian myth, which focuses on the Lady of Shalott. Okay? Everyone knows the legend of Arthur destined to be a king, of the beautiful Guinevere who will betray him with his most loyal knight, Lancelot, of the bitter sorceress Morgana, who will turn against them all. But Elaine alone carries the burden of knowing what is to come, for Elaine of Shalott is cursed to see the future. On the mystical Isle of Avalon, Elaine runs free and learns of the ancient prophecies surrounding her and her friends. Countless possibilities, almost all of them tragic. When their future comes to claim them, Elaine, Guinevere, Lancelot, and Morgana accompany Arthur to take his throne in stifling Camelot, where magic is outlawed, the rules of society chain them, and enemies are everywhere. Yet the most dangerous threats may come from within their own circle. As visions are fulfilled and an inevitable fate closes in, Elaine must decide how far she will go to change destiny and what she is willing to sacrifice along the way. And that is Half Sick of Shadows by Laura Sebastian on July the 6th. Also on July the 6th, we have another one from Random Penguin. I think this one is a DAW release, and this one looks like total Thomas Catnip, all right, because this is creepy space stuff, okay? It's a book called We Have Always Been Here. The author is Lena Nguyen. And it says, this psychological sci-fi thriller from a debut author follows one doctor who must discover the source of her crew's madness or risk succumbing to it herself. Misanthropic psychologist Dr. Grace Park is placed on the Deucalion, a survey ship headed to an icy planet in an unexplored galaxy. Her purpose is to observe the 13 human crew members aboard the ship, all specialists in their own fields, as they assess the colonization potential of the planet Eos. But frictions develop as Park befriends the androids of the ship, preferring their company over the baffling complexity of humans, while the rest of the crew treats them with suspicion and even outright hostility. Shortly after landing, the crew finds themselves trapped on the ship by a radiation storm, with no means of communication or escape until it passes, and that's when things begin to fall apart. Park's patients are falling prey to waking nightmares of helpless, tongueless insanity. The androids are behaving strangely. There are no windows aboard the ship. Paranoia is closing in, and soon, Park is forced to confront the fact that nothing, neither her crew nor their mission nor the mysterious Eos itself, is as it seems. Oh gosh, yes. Touches of cosmic horror there. Remains to be seen how far the book will go with it, but yeah. That is We Have Always Been Here on July the 6th. Choices. Okay, fantasy fans, you have not been neglected on this one because we have a Desert Thorne Asunder by Bradley Ballou on July the 13th, and this is the 6th and final volume in the Song of the Shattered Sands series, which started out, as you all know, with the 12 Kings of Sharakai. It closes the epic fantasy saga in a desert setting filled with rich world-building and pulse-pounding action. The plans of the desert gods are coming to fruition. Miriam, the deposed queen of Chimere, hopes to raise the buried elder god Ashael, an event that would bring ruin to the desert, right? So all this stuff that has been culminating now at the end of 6 books, it will come together in hopefully a grand and explosive climax. On July the 13th, from DAW Books, a Desert Thorne Asunder. All right. Also, on July 13th. Wow, this is, July's a great month. Horror fans, new book by Grady Hendrix, The Final Girl Support Group. It's a fast-paced, thrilling horror novel that follows a group of heroines to die for, from the brilliant New York Times bestselling author of the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. And also We Sold Our Souls, which I reviewed a few years ago and absolutely loved. All right, in horror movies, the final girl is the one who's left standing when the credits roll. The one who fought back, defeated the killer, and avenged her friends. The one who emerges bloodied but victorious. But after the sirens fade and the audience moves on, what happens to her? Lynette Tarkington is a real-life final girl who survived a massacre 22 years ago, and it has defined every day of her life since. And she's not alone. For more than a decade, she's been meeting with 5 other actual final girls and their therapist in a support group for those who survived the unthinkable, putting their lives back together, piece by piece. That is, until one of the women misses a meeting and Lynette's worst fears are realized. Someone knows about the group and is determined to take their lives apart again, piece by piece. But the thing about these final girls is that they have each other now. And no matter how bad the odds, how dark the night, how sharp the knife, they will never, ever give up. And that is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix on July the 13th. Okay, getting close to the end here. We have more space opera, and this one's very exciting for me. This will be out August the 24th from Tor.com, and it's Light Chaser. And it's a collaboration between Peter F. Hamilton and Gareth L. Powell, which is amazing to me. And what's equally amazing is that it's a short novel or a novella, right? I mean, from Peter F. Hamilton, who's known for like 30,000-page books, right? But I'm excited about it. It says it's an action-packed sci-fi venture, Light Chaser. A love powerful enough to transcend death can bring down an entire empire. Amali is a light chaser, one of a number of explorers who travel the universe alone except for their onboard AI, trading trinkets for life stories. But when she listens to the stories sent down through the ages, she hears the same voice talking directly to her from different times and on different worlds. She comes to understand that something terrible is happening, and only she is in a position to do anything about it, and it will cost everything to put it right. And that is Light Chaser on August the 24th from Tor.com Publishing. And also on August the 24th, this one I believe is going back to orbit for this one. Epic fantasy fans, here you go. This is The Pariah, a new book by Anthony Ryan. Okay, and this is the start of a new trilogy. It says, following one man's rise from infamous outlaw to famed warrior, The Pariah is a spectacular first novel in an all-new epic fantasy trilogy from the international best-selling author of Bloodsong, about which I've heard mixed things. I have that trilogy, haven't dug into it yet, but I will at some point, sure. Born into the troubled kingdom of Albermain, Alwyn Scribe is raised as an outlaw. Quick of wit and deft with a blade, Alwyn is content with the freedom of the woods and the comradeship of his fellow thieves. But an act of betrayal sets him on a new path, one of blood and vengeance, which eventually leads him to a soldier's life in the king's army. Fighting under the command of Lady Evadine Courlane, a noble woman beset by visions of a demonic apocalypse, Alwyn must survive war and the deadly intrigues of the nobility if he hopes to claim his vengeance. But as dark forces, both human and arcane, gather to oppose Evadine's rise, Alwyn faces a choice. Can he be a warrior, or will he always be an outlaw? Well, you'll find out in The Pariah on August 24th from Orbit Books. Okay, just a few left to go here. The next is another space opera from Tor. And this is a book by Kat Rambo called You Sexy Thing. And it's described, interestingly, as Farscape meets the Great British Bake Off. In this fantastic space opera, You Sexy Thing, from former SFF180 president Kat Rambo. All right? Just when they thought they were out, Twice Far Station is at the edge of the known universe, and that's just how Nico Larson, former admiral in the Grand Military of the Hive Mind, likes it. Retired and finally free of the continual war of conquest, Nico and the remnants of her former unit are content to spend the rest of their days working at the restaurant they built together, The Last Chance. But some wars cannot ever be escaped, and unlike the hive mind, some enemies aren't content to let old soldiers go. Nico and her crew are forced onto a sentient ship, convinced that it is being stolen, and must survive the machinations of a sadistic pirate king if they even hope to keep the dream of The Last Chance alive. Okay, so there's wit, and it looks like, a ragtag bunch of misfits kind of characters. Does seem to be sort of like maybe aiming at the, Becky Chambers crowd, but that's fine. That'll be out, though, September the 7th, from Tor, You Sexy Thing. Okay, let me check the sun here, make sure it's not shadowing me again too much. God, look at that. I love this. This is great. All booktubing should be done this way. If only, maybe I should just move here. Yeah, I mean, I like Texas if it weren't for all the Texans. Sorry. Anyway, okay. Let's see, how many do I have? The last one. On September 14th. This is interesting. It is a book called The Actual Star by Monica Byrne. Now, a few years ago, Monica Byrne, she's an author who came out with a book called The Girl in the Road, which I believe was maybe like kind of a feminist dystopia, not dystopia, but more like apocalyptic novel. This one is described as David Mitchell's Cloud Atlas meets Octavia Butler's Earthseed series, as acclaimed author Monica Byrne spins a brilliant multi-generational saga spanning 2,000 years, from the collapse of the ancient Maya to a far-future utopia on the brink of civil war. Huh. Okay. The actual star takes readers on a journey over 2 millennia and 6 continents, telling 3 powerful tales 1,000 years apart, all of them converging in the same cave in the Belizean jungle. Braided together are the stories of a pair of teenage twins who ascend the throne of a Maya kingdom, a young American woman on a trip of self-discovery in Belize, and 2 dangerous charismatics vying for the leadership of a new religion and racing towards a confrontation that will determine the fate of the few humans left on Earth after massive climate change. In each era, a reincarnated trinity of souls navigates the entanglements of tradition and progress, sister and stranger, and love and hate, until all of their age-old questions about the nature of existence converge deep underground where only in complete darkness can they truly see. Wow. The actual star is a feast of ideas about where humanity came from, where we are now, and where we're going, and how in every age the same forces that drive us apart also bind us together. And so that is The Actual Star by Monica Byrne on September the 14th. All right, there you have it. That's all I've got for this episode of the Mailbag. You guys know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, and which you would like to see me prioritize for review. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please hit the like button, share the video far and wide with all of your SFF reading friends, and above all, please subscribe if you have not done so. That's how the channel grows. You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's Army get little perks like early access to some of my videos. I want to thank all of those awesome people for their ongoing support. It is greatly appreciated, especially in these difficult times. I use the Patreon money to pay Matt Olson, my brilliantly talented channel artist, for all of the lovely thumbnails he does for me. So thanks again, all my Patreons. I want to thank all the rest of you guys for being the very best viewers in all of BookTube, and until I see all of you next time, stay safe, stay healthy, happy reading, and I will leave you with a shot of my new friend, Shanti. As you can see, Shanti is a very good girl. Aren't you, Shanti?